Pat, you might be back with Coach. I don't know if you talked him into some lotion or not.
Yeah, he was just talking about it. He was actually looking out for me. He said, "Do you have any sunscreen on?" I told him I got 70 SPF. Ladies and gentlemen, multiple-time national champion, Coach Kirby Smart.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
Hey, we are
fair-skinned fellow.
Yeah, amen. We are lucky and thankful that you're here. Okay, legitimately, massive game tomorrow.
Massive.
You've been a part of a lot of massive games this year. How do you feel about where your team is right now? And do you feel battle-tested? Because obviously, number one strength of schedule. You've had more top 10 games than anybody in the country. Obviously, they wanted Georgia in primetime games. Do you feel callous? What do you think about your team now versus maybe at the beginning of the season?
Definitely battle-tested. Definitely calloused. But I can say that about most of our league. When you play in these battles, especially on the road, it is a tough environment. And our guys have played, and I think calloused is a good word, because when you repeatedly go play on the road in tough environments, it calluses you. And we got some beat-up kids, but we also got some kids excited about being home. I mean, being able to play in this thing, which we haven't played in over a month.
What?
We'd like to be able to play in here.
92,746, I was told, is going to be in here tomorrow.
At least.
Because you're saying that they're going to pile in the hauler here.
Smart.
Let's talk about I don't want to, but obviously we have to. Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
Very abnormal Georgia Bulldog game.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys viewed it? How did you address the team after that, and what's the mindset?
Just honest. I mean, you reflect on the game and you be honest. Our players want honesty. They knew we were going into a really tough environment. Lane's doing a great job. He got a couple players back that helped them. They played really well defensively. They got a great quarterback. When you got a quarterback, you got a chance. And they've got a really good quarterback, and they played well, and give them credit. And we didn't play so well. And when you turn the ball over, I think we crossed the 50 6 or 7 times that we ended up not getting any points, whether you turn it over or don't execute well. That's what happens. We didn't protect the quarterback real well either.
Okay, so Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, and then tomorrow Tennessee. You're talking about, and you guys, that's 5 teams that could be in a college football playoff that you've obviously either are or have to play against. Right. Do you keep up with all that shit?
Well, I have to. I mean, we look at it each week and we say, all right, where are we? What are we doing? What do we got to do better? What do we got to do better? But that's one of those things that's also out of our control. So I think the news Tuesday came out, and it's not something that we talk about, but you're like, okay, well, what's the importance of the schedule if we play a really tough schedule? Is there value in that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there's value in that when you win, and then when you don't or you don't play well, I don't know. I don't know how much the committee values it. They're looking at things through a sample size of, they're looking at the game on the TV. They're not at the stadium hearing the crowd noise, knowing the atmosphere that you're playing in. It's very different when you play on the road in our league. I think compared to some other leagues, it's tougher.
I think there's a good chance that Coach Saban is going to be saying a lot of the things that you just mentioned right there on game day.
Where do you think I learned it from?
Yeah, amen, amen. AJ, back in Indianapolis, has a question for you.
Yeah.
Coach, during on game day, I'm just curious with your interaction with your quarterback, Carson Beck. Is it... Yeah. What's it? Are you very in his ear a lot? Are you guys going back and forth, or do you kind of let him do his thing on game day?
Well, I've learned with quarterbacks. I think probably early on in my career, I would, if you started with Jake Fromm or Jacob Eason, I was more with them a lot of the time and always talking to them. With a quarterback coach has time in between drives to talk to them. I'm very involved with the defense, so my time with Carson is usually during the week, not necessarily in game. And I think most head coaches that work on the defensive side of the ball will tell you, I'm not in every quarterback meeting. So what I want to do is support him, tell him to be positive, keep fighting, keep chopping, keep doing the things we got to do. And Carson's very bright. So it's not like you need to go over there and say, hey, what coverage was that? He knows what coverage it was. He knows what decision has to be made. He's got to protect the ball. He's got to make good decisions. And that's one of the things we've been working on this week.
He's taking a lot of heat this year.
Sure.
Because the projections maybe QB1. Obviously, we've seen him win before. He has it all. Then there's a couple games where he turns the ball over a lot, and maybe it's a deflection, maybe it's something else. The loss of Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, and all the other weapons that you have, how do you replace those every single year? And is there a transition time that maybe isn't accounted for because you're Georgia?
I don't know that. I think you always want to reload and replenish, whether that's through the portal or that's through recruiting. We have to do a great job of doing that. I would say, if anything, this year it's not really about the loss of just them as much as it has been some significant injuries. We're a very different team than we were to start the year. We've got 3 starting backs out that would be playing between Rod Branson and Trevor. We got offensive linemen who have not been able to practice during the week. And I think that affects the confidence and the psyche as much as anything. Yes, losing a Brock Bowers matters. Losing a Ladd McConkey matters. Losing a Marcus Rosemary matters. But everybody deals with that. You deal with that, and then you replace. We've had all offseason to replace that. We got to do a good job with the guys we have.
Not everybody loses 3 first-rounders. Yeah, first-rounders. Just one of that is not. That is.
Well, they weren't all first-rounders.
Yeah, but the culture that you have built obviously brings that. AP Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, I'm glad you just brought up the O-line injuries because that's what I wanted to talk about. I mean, your 2 championship runs, and then last year, like everyone said, this is one of the 1 or 2 best offensive lines in the country. And I know you've had injuries dealing with that this year, and then last week there's a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and then this week against Tennessee, they have one of the best D lines in the country. Is it not great that you guys lost last week, but was it an eye opener for the offensive line? Maybe be like, hey, we need to tighten up against Tennessee based off of what happened to Ole Miss last week.
I definitely think it'll probably act as a motivator, but that motivation typically doesn't last but maybe 10 plays. It boils down to how you practice, how you prepare, what you have available. I mean, Tate goes out in the game last week. He wants to play. It means a lot to him. He goes out to play. He dings an ankle that he's already come back from, and he's not playing real well because he's injured. Ernest has been beat up. He's been hurt at tackle. He struggled to practice and has to go out and play. Jared's missed 2 or 3 games. Micah's out right now. So when you start talking about it, it's a bunch of guys that have been hurt or injured, and I don't know that the motivation is, well, we didn't play great last week, let's tighten up. The motivation is, we're playing at home, we're playing a really good defense, we need to go play well.
Okay, let's talk about that hypo offense.
Yeah.
Because obviously everybody remembers the Hennon Hooker wide open we're throwing. It's a bit different than now. They pound the rock a lot.
The rock.
How do you feel about facing against hypo's offense, and how do you think your defense fares against their style?
Well, it's tough because you have to change your defense to play against them. There's plays and defenses we haven't called all year that we have to play against them because they're very different. They're fast. They have huge splits, and everybody knows that. So you get to watch other people play against them, and you're trying to get ideas of how you want to play against them. But they go so fast that they limit what you can do. You got to try to beat them back to the ball, get lined up, out-execute them. And this year they have been different. I mean, they're explosive, and they got a great quarterback, and they got really good wideouts. But they got a back, and he trusted. He plays behind his defense a little more.
Nico Iamaleava obviously is.
He said it.
Pretty good, right?
Dang good.
Yeah, thank you. Have you tried it all or no? Just Nico.
Nico. I like Nico.
Yeah, Nico's a great name.
Great name.
It's a great name. He's questionable, obviously, but in college ball, you can say that. And then it seems pretty apparent he's going to play.
Yeah.
Is that how you treat it, or do you have to think about potential backups playing as well?
No, you treat it like he's going to play, and you adjust if he doesn't. I think anytime that's the case. Offensively, there's not a huge change for them when he's not in. I do think that he's a great talent. I mean, the ball comes out like a missile. I've never seen a ball, we call it a bazooka around here. It comes out and it's really flat and fast, and the ball travels 53 yards really quickly. But he is talented. He's got great arm talent, and he's got great wideouts to throw it to.
Do you always show your pick of Peyton Manning this week?
Yeah, as long as he doesn't show all those plays he has.
Just to the
For
team.
some reason, every year he likes to come back and show all the plays. I didn't pick that play. He's going to probably be at the game, and he's going to say, well, you put that on the McAfee Show.
No, we did. I would like to let Peyton
How about
know.
those pads, man? You think those pads are big enough back in the day?
Old school, brother. How do you feel about modern football? Listen, because I know you were, what is it? What was
Bloody
Tuesdays. Bloody Tuesday?
Tuesday.
You still got to be a physical team, right?
Got to be a physical team.
That's always
We had Bloody Tuesday forever when I was here. Everybody acts like it's a new thing for us. I think every team in the country likes Bloody Tuesday.
No.
Not all teams do it.
Not every team.
That's right.
As somebody who's watched a lot of soft football,
right.
Not every team loves it, but I appreciate the fact that your guys buy into it. You have a bunch of dogs.
That means a lot coming from a punter. That makes me feel
I would
really,
go.
That makes me feel really good. We got a punter you need to talk to, too. Our guy's got the personality. He loves you.
Special teams, big one, Bar, you think?
Big special teams. They're really good. They're really good on special teams.
Breezy? Is it always breezy in here? Feels like a little breezy.
A little breezy. Not as bad as Jacksonville, but it's breezy.
Amen. Are you not hot as shit in that thing?
I'm in a building that's like 50 degrees every day. So when I walk out, I get a little warm, but I live inside.
You're the man. We can't thank you enough for taking time
Thank
here.
you, guys.
Good luck
Enjoy the
tomorrow.
show. My son loves the show. He said, Dad, you're going to be on McAfee Show. I said, yeah, he loves it. Thank you, bro.
Hey, I hope, you know what happened to the SEC championship. I made a prediction.
What about it?
I did the whole, what's that called, me? And I picked Alabama. They're going to hold that against me tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they will. They all think you got a man crush on Dan Lanning anyway, so.
Come on. What's going on there?
I kind of do. But I also think you're awesome as well. Ladies and gentlemen,
I love Dan.
national champion. multiple times, Coach Kirby Smart.
Coach.